So the main things that I have is degenerative disc disease, and basically my spine doesn't do the work that it should anymore. Some days you wake up and it's like, okay, this is a good day, I'm having a great day, everything's fantastic. And sometimes there's been days where I've woken up and I've needed to be, with a higher level of mobility assistance, where I've needed a wheelchair. And so each day is kind of a mystery. I try to plan as best I can. Can you get back?
Primarily, her spine doesn't really hold her upright the way it ought to, and leads to things like muscle spasms and difficulty keeping her balance. So it really affects basically everything.
The big time that I fell, like the big moment, which was what prompted the whole reach out to Can Do Canines, was, I was having a really bad flare-up at the time that day. I remember being in a lot of pain, and when I got up from the nap, I slid and hit on my kind of tailbone and lumbar spine onto my concrete floor. And my phone was just up on my nightstand, so I couldn't reach it. And I just laid on the floor. I'm so sorry. It's such a hard one. I just remember laying there for 2 hours where I couldn't access anybody. I had no one to get a hold of, no way to get a hold of anybody. I just am in so much pain. I don't know if I just broke my back.
And so she had to basically wait till she could reach her phone to get in touch with anyone, and then was able to tell me what happened, and so that I could come and try and help out.
With Jasmine, it's so much different because we have an emergency button, and she could have easily just pressed it. It was her favorite task. She'd have pressed it happily. And everybody who was attached to my emergency contacts list would have gotten that notification. She'd have been there and she'd have laid next to me until help came.
Jasmine, get help.
Your button has been pressed. We will now attempt to contact help.
I was stunned by what Jasmine knows how to do and can learn how to do. I remember seeing the sheet of cues that she's been trained on, and I went, oh wow, this is a lot of different cues. And then Marina said, that's just the first page. I went, I'm sorry, what?
Let's go.
I get home sometimes exhausted. And the first time that she did this for me, I was just broken. And I just remember looking at her so tired, so wiped out, so exhausted. And I just pointed my toe at her in my sock and I was like, you tug this? We'd never worked on it. We'd never talked about this before. It was not something we really had done. And she was like, I got you, and just took my socks off for me. And I was like, I love you so much.
You tug that one? Thank you.
So Marina was sick at one point, and we had gone to bed, gone to sleep.
And I was trying desperately to breathe, and I couldn't. So I decided to get in the shower to try to get steam and try to, get my body to relax. And with the fever and the steam, I lost a lot of stability and just kind of a gentle slide. Didn't really fall, hurt myself, just couldn't get back up. And Jasmine heard this, nudged the bathroom door open, opened the shower curtain, hey. And I was like, you are correct. I'm not good. And then I gave her the cue, get daddy.
And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I am awoken by Jasmine jumping onto me from the ground and just full body lands on me and nudges me with her nose. I knew in the moment, as soon as it happened, the thought goes, I'm awake. Jasmine woke me up. Something's wrong.
And so here Ian came and he was able to get me. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, this is why. This is proof right here of exactly why we did this, of exactly why she's here.
Get daddy.
Oh, okay.
Hi, good job.
So Jasmine has taken over a lot of the helping and watching over duties that I would try and do as much as I can. So if there was anything that could cause Marina more difficulty with her back, I was always trying to be attentive to let me do that for you, and jumping up off the couch if needed to say, stop trying to pick this thing up.
Good job.
I think for Ian, as the spouse of a person who is a fall risk and who, if you're the spouse of a person with a disability, there's so many things that come with that. And a lot of the responsibilities fell to him. So then he had to do all the laundry. He had to do all the things. And that's really taxing on a relationship. And it's not super fair either. So then that made me feel guilty and made him have stress. So with Jasmine, I've got other support now. And that is such a breather for our marriage, for our relationship.
So with regards to the future, we've talked about the fact that it's likely that Marina will end up being at some point a full-time or mostly full-time wheelchair user. And the goal is to postpone that as much as possible, as long as possible. And Jasmine's a huge part of that. The more that she can protect her back and her own health by relying on, Jasmine, the longer it can help her maintain more mobility.
I've spent the last several years trying to embrace the fact that I know my body is going to continue to degenerate over time, and working towards slowing it down, but knowing that it's coming and knowing that that's just your life. And how do you work to prepare everything you can while still embracing life to its fullest? And for me, a huge part of that is Jasmine. She's really just been there, and I just don't worry. The fear for me of the future has been so much lessened by her presence. And with Can Do Canines in particular, I feel like every step of the way I will have that support. If you are a person who has considered reaching out to Can Do Canines and you're struggling with the things like I struggled, feeling not disabled enough, because that is a huge thing in the disability community, especially in the mobility community. Reach out. They're there for you, and they will guide you through this process and change your life.